Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And on this episode of Friendo Club Wrestling, we're going to talk about call-ups.
Yeah.
NXT to main roster.
Fortunately, we've had 10, 11 releases from WWE. And some of the reporting suggests that the releases were made in preparation for the next round of NXT call-up. So it seems like we're going to get a decent influx of NXT talent up to main roster. And so we thought we'd, predict who's getting called up.
So are we predicting? I like that I'm asking you this right now, not before the cameras are rolling. Are we predicting who's going to get called up, or are we saying these people should get called up?
A little bit of both. Because I think based on our estimation, these people should be called up would inform our prediction as to whether they will or won't.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
So we're just going to do 5.
Yes.
So, Steve, kick us off. Who do you think is going to be called up?
I mean, look, if I want to go with an absolute total lock,
we shouldn't include Roxanne Perez because she's basically called up right now.
Damn it. All right. Take her off my list then. Boom. There we go. Oh, man. Then, I don't know. Dude, I hate saying this one because, like, the NXT men's main event roster, like, needs some depth, but this guy's already been champion. Ethan Page. This dude was meant for main roster. He's been wrestling for, if I'm not mistaken, 29 years now. And he's got to get to main roster sooner than later. Like I said, he's already done everything. He's in a feud with Javon Evans right now. Pretty entertaining one. He needs to lose this feud and then go to main roster because, I don't know, I could see, like right now, The Miz is wandering around backstage at SmackDown trying to manage people or whatever, or trying to team up with them. You see a lot of parallels there between the characters. So The Miz manages Karate Man. I see the vision.
I mean, I guess another obvious name is Trick Williams.
If not Roxanne, then it's Trick is number one. I think that's going to happen after Stand and Deliver. I'm not sure if this time frame with the reporting, the releases are going to make room for like the draft post-Mania.
Yes, that would be my guess, yeah.
I think that he's going to lose to Obafemi at Stand and Deliver and then get drafted.
And then come up to main roster. Yeah, so Trick Williams, absolutely.
My next one is a guy who has been in NXT for a spell now. Took some time off due to a pretty nasty injury, but he's been back as a bad guy. I'm talking about Wes Lee. I don't see him being involved in getting an actual a run with the NXT title. I know he's coming after the NXT championship at some point soon. I'm assuming that that's going to be him versus Obafemi after Stand and Deliver. Maybe that'll be the thing, but I could see them calling him up. They just gave him a faction.
Yeah.
Maybe this faction is not meant to be a proper faction. It's just meant to be him saying, hey, you guys are with me for now, but I've imparted what I can teach to you. Adios.
So this one is probably more wishful thinking than an actual prediction, although given their story, I think it makes a lot of sense to do it. They're facing all challengers in NXT. They're going to TNA to face prospective challengers, and I think why not go to main roster after getting called up, even though they are NXT tag champions currently, and still defend those NXT tag titles? It fits their story beautifully. I'm talking about Fraxium.
Yeah, right.
They are maybe right now the best tag team in all of wrestling in terms of in-ring work and character work.
So much fun, yeah.
You continue to tell their story up on main roster while still having them be NXT tag champs.
Yeah.
I think would be great.
Here's my next one, and it's Sol Ruca. Given how crowded, like, the main event scene and now, I guess, the North American title scene, but, like, I don't know where Sol Ruca necessarily fits in with all that. And I kind of feel like she's a person who, because I know one pushback on that might be, well, she needs to stay in NXT to focus on her character. Dude, I'll be honest with you. I kind of feel like with Sol Ruca, her character is going to be a bit more in line. This is a name that I thought of when I thought about Sol Ruca for a couple reasons. But I feel like her character can kind of be a bit more in line with an RVD. Somebody who didn't need a promo to be such a loved character. Because so much of his character had to do with this, you know? And his bravado in the ring, his arrogance in the ring. And when he needed to talk, he could talk. But so much of his character was just in his body language. and what he could do in the ring. And I feel like that kind of describes Sol Ruca to a T. I don't think she needs a big promo. I don't think we need to explore too in depth. Oh, who is this person? I feel like she can do what she can do already. So bring her up to main roster. I mean, you can argue that like the amount of time they devote on NXT to the women's division, it's a lot of time, but their roster is so deep. On main roster, it's like less time focusing on the women's division. The roster's not as deep, but there's less time. So I think all things are kind of equal in terms of like what kind of time she's going to get on television.
Next names I have here are in a lot of respects seemingly already called up. That's Lash legend Jakara Jackson. They've already had a couple women's tag title shots. It seems like it's just a matter of time before they get called up.
Mm-hmm.
You just see, what they've managed to do in NXT, and you'd love to see them have that opportunity on the larger stage and main roster.
All right, my next name on here, again, sort of a name that a lot of people have bandied about is like, this is a possibility. That's Kalani Jordan. Already had a run with that North American title. She's in a thing right now with Jada Parker. And I kind of feel like that might be to get Jada Parker a win in a decent feud with a decent name who already has had a championship so that Kalani Jordan can move on to the next level. I think that she kind of has everything. Like she's got the camera charisma, the personality, kind of know who her character is. She's good in the ring. What more? Why do you need to stick around NXT any longer? Why not send her up to main roster?
I got Fallon Henley. I have her on my list as well as JC Jane. It could be both of them. It could be one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they'll tell the story of Fatal Influence having some problems. They've already teased that. Lead to either Fallon or JC or potentially both getting called up to main roster.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Here's my last name is on like my wishful thinking list because I've not seen her on television. From what I understand, she's been like in TNA or something. Ariana Grace. I think she's been like the liaison because like her dad obviously is the like GM over there.
Director of Authority.
Thank you. Yeah. And so I admit that actually is a pairing that I'd kind of like to go back and visit because I don't really watch TNA. And that seems like it'd be a lot of fun to see father and daughter doing that stuff. Mm-hmm. But that being said, talk about ready for prime time. I think she's fantastic as a character. To see her interact with people like Chelsea Green, I think she could be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I think she's ready for main roster. So, that's probably a long shot. Probably don't see it happening anytime soon just because, like, I don't know what their plans are. I haven't seen her on television. So yeah, that'd be my last name.
Last name I got here, this might be a bit of a long shot considering he's in a faction. Charlie Dempsey.
Oh, what a great name.
Even though he seems like the type of performer that they can build up to get him up to the main event scene, for whatever reason, I don't feel like that's the trajectory right now.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, bring him up to main, and given the few interactions he's had with his dad in NXT, that could potentially be a story they explore on main roster to help get him over immediately.
Yeah. You know who they need to bring back? Teo Man.
Yes.
We need D Familia back, man.
Yes, we do.
That's what we need.
Need those dinner parties with the wine, but no food.
No food. And then the other guy.
Rohan Raja.
Rohan Raja. Okay. And remember, the eye always sees. Unless you don't have your contact lens in, then you're like.
Yeah, if it's like me when I get up in the morning, I don't have contacts in.